Alright guys, I have no jokes today, because Black Ops II is no joke. It is the best Call of Duty, and I will die on that hill. I mean, when you put it on paper, Black Ops II should not be as good as it is. It's the first futuristic Call of Duty, it features two controversial American politicians as part of the story, and hell, it is even the first Call of Duty to introduce microtransactions in the multiplayer. And even with all that, this is still the best game Activision's ever let out. Crazy campaign, triple S tier multiplayer, but what about the zombies? Does that mode offer a blemish to Black Ops II's near perfect standing? Well, yes and no. It is my opinion that Black Ops II offers the best maps, the worst maps, and some overrated maps. So the quality is definitely all over the place. And why is that? Well, if I'm correct, there were two development teams working on these maps, and this can be seen by the varied settings of them all. And the maps of today's ranking, which I'll be discussing, are the following: TranZit, Nuketown Zombies, Die Rise, Mob of the Dead, Buried, and Origins. So, no more wasting time. It is time for me to start crafting my list. And at dead last, we have Die Rise. Not the map that people usually say is the worst of Black Ops 2, but I have a reason for why that map is just a bit higher, which I'll get into later. In this map, the Victus crew, the Black Ops 2 characters Misty, Marlton, Stuhlinger, and Russman, have to activate a polarization device in the skyscraper for either Maxis or Richthofen. All Victus Easter eggs are like that, by the way. Activate something for one of the Germans. This map is dead last because I think we were all just shocked by how bad TranZit was on release, that didn't fully register. Then we get to Die Rise, and it's all bad. It's just all bad. Sort of like why Attack of the Clones is worse than the Phantom Menace in my opinion. What makes Die Rise bad, it's damn near impossible to navigate through this map. The map is the most vertical out of all of them, so you have to go upstairs and elevators and across broken buildings. The rooms by themselves are like mazes to me, and that's before we get to the absolutely terrible elevators that 1. Have the perks and the pack-a-punch inside of them, and 2. Go up and down randomly at will, meaning you don't have a solid location for Jug and, God forbid, you pack-a-punch and before it's done, the elevator closes on you and takes your shit. Even in the beginning of the map, the devs fuck with you, because when you drop down to the elevator, you see PhD Flopper for a quick second just chilling in a hallway. They trolled us good, because that perk would have helped a lot here. Now, the map isn't all bad. The aesthetics are gross and icky, like you feel gross just running through it all. It's a Chinese skyscraper filled with apartments and sweatshops, so it was already no man's land before the zombies came. It's called the Great Leap Forward for a reason. The radio, or TVs I guess, are nicely done as well, as they flesh out the state of the world. Very post-apocalyptic. There's a few recordings of a CDC operative that illustrates just how bad things are. We also learn of the Flesh, a group of people that eat zombie flesh to survive. Stuhlinger is one of these people. There is a particularly chilling recording of a woman who knows she's going to die soon, and she's terrified. Very haunting. Even though the map takes place in the 2030s, the audio quality of the radios is all mucky, which adds to the creepiness factor of it. Lastly, the Sliquifier is a beast of a wonder weapon. It's too bad they nerfed it in an update. But that's all I have to say on Die Rise. That is, until Mr. T Lexify remasters it on the Steam Workshop for Black Ops III. In 5th place, we have TranZit. Trans shit, if you will. This is the Phantom Menace of zombie maps. I've said before, and I'll say it again. A map so ambitious that, like Icarus, it flew too close to the sun.
Ha! Gay!
Yes, sir, this map pissed off everyone when it came out. But why? Well, TranZit takes place in Washington, some years after the Earth was blown up in Moon. The Victus crew first meet up here, and they follow Max's commands to free the Avogadro and power up the pillar here to get energy to Agartha, or something like that, I don't know. But like in Die Rise, and as it will be in Buried, the Easter egg can go in either Max's or Richthofen's favor, although the canon option will always be Max's. The map is ginormous, which is where the ambition stretches too far, as all the perks and important stuff are spread apart across the map, and separating the sections is the fog that, if you walk through, you'll be assaulted by the denizens. There's also lava all throughout the map that hurts you. The reason for these limitations is because the game engine and the consoles at the time couldn't run such a big map all at once, so the fog could hide the LODs and other parts that would load in. Unfortunately, those parts suck. The wonder weapon of the map might be the worst out of all of them, the jet gun. You build the thing, and it breaks apart after some usage. It's a slim margin why I put TranZit above Die Rise, but here's the rub. I know where Jug and Pack-a-Punch are on this map, and I can rely on them being there, no matter what. TranZit also comes with 4 smaller maps: Bus Depot, Diner, Farm, and the best of them all, Town. I count all of these in TranZit. I know no one else does, they usually count them separately, but I don't give a goddamn. This is my list. And like with Die Rise, the aesthetics and the radios represent a dire situation for humanity. No matter what happens, the Earth is fucked. And you get that feeling by some of the small details. But past that, this map is not so good. Next up, at 4th place, we have Nuketown Zombies. This is a fun little nothing map. It's just Nuketown for the multiplayer, but with zombies. There's a little bit of premise here, though. You see, the map takes place during the events of Moon. The zombies have yellow eyes and not blue yet until like round 20 or something. The Nuketown itself actually held a broken arrow facility that Marlton from the Victus crew wanted to sneak a peek at, but alas, they detonated a nuke on it, which is why it's in disrepair now. Martin is chilling safely in the bunker there, but more on that in the story of Black Ops 4. Yeah, this map, the lore is much more interesting than the actual gameplay. But yeah, this is a nothing map. It's simple, it can be fun, but just for a bit. The map is small, and there's not much to do. The layout just doesn't feel right for zombies. It feels like a custom map. And the perks drop down from the sky at random, so you can't really rely on getting Jug whenever you want. The map is fun for a bit, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't try to be much. It's just Nuketown with zombies. The game over screen shows a rocket heading to Nuketown, and that rocket is one of the many shot from the moon to destroy Earth. Fun fact. And speaking of destroyed, alright, don't lynch me for this one, please, but 3rd place is Origins. Now, at this point in the video, we're going to be talking about maps that are really good instead of shit. Origins was a game changer in that it added so many mechanics that we would see in Black Ops III and beyond. Origins takes place in World War I. Samantha has control again, and she doesn't like what's become of her father in the Aether, so she goes to a new dimension and finds the younger versions of the Ultimus crew in World War I, and assembles them decades before they would usually be. This would be the Primus crew. The map is ambitious, and actually pulls it off, unlike TranZit. I remember the summer that the map was being released, and I remember just having dreams of anticipation of what it would be like, because that was right when I was starting to get into zombies. Origins is a huge map with snow and mud everywhere. There's so much to talk about, with power stations, the giant robots, the staffs, the Panzer Soldat, the crazy place, and other stuff. The Wonder Fizz is introduced here. It's the mystery box, but for Perca-Colas. And the map is gorgeous. It stretched the capability of the Black Ops II engine, and in Black Ops III's remaster, it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I find World War I to be quite a fascinating part of history, and seeing it in its aesthetics in Call of Duty finally was a treat. This map was legendary when it came out, and it set the stage for what's to come. And that's where my dislikes come in. This was the turning point when Zombies was less about horror and simplistic survival, and more about multiverses and dimensions and timelines, and it just got so complex. The gameplay reflects that too, as there are a lot of buildables here, with the staffs, as well as other things like the drone or the record player. On top of that, the Panzer will fuck you up big time. This map is not so solo-friendly, at least in the casual sense. And while I gush about the zombies lore in the maps and the gameplay, I am just a casual player by the end of the day. I'm not that good. And I know people treat Origins and its successors like they are the best of the best, but I think Zombies lost its identity here. It got to be way too big and too much, when at its core, Zombies is just best when it's kept simple. Like, you shouldn't need to look up guides from Mr. Dalek JD or JFK Gamer just to pack a punch. I like Origins fine, just not as much as other people. I'd say it's overrated, but I'm saving that description for all the maps in Black Ops III. The map that I'm saying is better than Origins and coming in at 2nd place is Buried. Yes, this is probably the easiest Zombies map here, but hey, it's what got me to really get into the lore and the gameplay of Zombies. I can't tell you how much time me and my friends sank into this bad boy. Buried is the last Victus map, and takes place in a western town that got displaced in time and teleported underground in Africa. Think about that. An old, aged western town surrounded by dirt and decay. Such a creepy yet really, really cool setting. It reminds me of this old abandoned house in my hometown that me and my friends and my brother used to go to and explore. It had a bunch of old pictures and a lot of shotgun shells for some reason. But sadly, it got demolished years ago. But back to the topic at hand. Buried is a casual's best friend. The layout is very self-explanatory. It's easy to get free perks, and if you use the bank system, you can cheese the fuck out of the map. The other great mechanic here is the use of Arthur, colloquially known as Leroy. He is the big giant guy in jail that can open barriers, build stuff, and kill zombies if you need him to. My friends and I had a name for him. We call him Big No-No Word. It was high school, that's how guys are supposed to talk. I will admit this map is too easy though. The two wonder weapons, the Paralyzer and the Ray Gun Mark II, were OP as shit. And there are 4 ways you can cheese this map. 1. In the spawn area, save up enough points so you can buy the LSAT on the platform above before you go into the main map. 2. Get a bunch of saved points from the bank that you deposited in previous games. And 3. Get 4 perks before you go into the witch's house. Because when you go through the witch's house, you'll get a free perk. And that free perk could be your 5th perk, and thus you'll have more than 4, which you can't normally do. And lastly, you want Arthur to build all the traps. And once you have all the traps, set them down in the alleyway in front of Jug. Do all these, and you'll last longer than Johnny Sins. Easiness aside, I love this map for getting me into zombies. I learned about who Richtofen and Maxis were, and what all the perks do, and all sorts of lore. But that being said, it's not my favorite map of Black Ops II. And of course, at first place we have Mob of the Dead. Now, me and my friends were mostly multiplayer people back when this map came out, because Black Ops II's multiplayer was the best, after all. And because we had the Season Pass for multiplayer, we just happened to be getting the DLC zombie maps at the time, which were shitters. When Mob of the Dead came out, it suckered us back in and reminded us why zombies was such a fun game mode. Now, I said earlier that I didn't like Origins because of all the things you had to do just to pack a punch, and build the staffs, and pretty much just play the game. Well, in Mob of the Dead, it all pays off. For some reason, the parts and the steps clicked with us more so than in Origins, but I'll get into that in a sec. Mob of the Dead is the first map to take place in a different dimension than the usual zombies. In Alcatraz, 4 inmates try to escape, but fail, but in their rage, one of them is murdered by the other 3, who are then sent to the electric chair and die. The point of the map is that the souls of those 4 men are trapped in limbo, and the point of the map is to escape the cycle so you can move on to the afterlife. The layout is well established and self-explanatory. It's quite fun to explore all the different rooms in Alcatraz. There's a very hellish and demonic vibe to it all. You feel like you're stuck in hell, and the devil is the warden. The weapons in this map are great too. The Blundergat can be upgraded and Pack-a-Punch to be a beast. Combine that with the shield, Electric Cherry, and the Hell's Retriever, and you're golden. And I'm pretty sure this is the only zombies map with the AK-47 and the Uzi. The Tommy gun is a great weapon too, as it is a point machine. And that's not even going to the whole ghost form thing in the beginning. But back to what I meant when I said that something convoluted worked out well in this map versus Origins. To Pack-a-Punch, you'll need to build a plane on top of the roof. And once you build it, you will then fly to the San Francisco Bridge and Pack-a-Punch there. And then when you have your weapon, you see 4 electric chairs there, and you sit on them, and then you get zapped back into spawn. And you rinse and repeat over and over and over. The Easter egg has a cool story to it as well. To break the cycle, the Easter egg needs to end with the Weasel winning and killing the other 3. That event alone is responsible for all the story in Black Ops 4. Yeah, this map is a masterpiece. I would rank it high with Kino and Derice. Yeah, man, Black Ops 2 is a mixed bag zombies-wise. You had some stinkers, but also some gems, some diamonds, some netherrack, even. And the bad maps don't take away from Black Ops 2, in my opinion. This is my favorite Call of Duty. I've had so many fun memories with my friends, old and new, and even my fiancé with this game. These maps got me into zombies, and for that I will forever be grateful. But next time, I will be going into Black Ops 3. Until then...
I'm Jessica the Coolest. Peace, y'all!